as told by Julianne Marquez and her sisters. There's only one more photo I didn't show. Every week, Ariel, Miranda, and Jane went to the children's zoo with their dad. Winter, spring, summer, fall, it was always an adventure. One winter Saturday, their dad decided to give each of them some money and let them choose presents to buy. It was certainly too cold for ice cream, and Ariel had plenty of candies in her bag. Should they buy toys? What about a balloon? Then Miranda saw how rabbits were shivering, even the lambs. With all the fine wool, they were cold. I know, said Miranda. Let's buy food for the animals. Jane and Ariel agreed, so they put their coins in the machine for animal food and turned the handle. Out came a little baggie of food. When Miranda saw how much the rabbits and lambs enjoyed it, she put some in her mouth and chewed it. It tasted yucky. From then on, whenever they went to the zoo, they bought the food for the animals. On one Saturday in spring, when the daffodils were their prettiest and the cherry blossoms smelled their loveliest, the three sisters went to the zoo. As usual, they fed the animals. They had fun watching them eat, especially the rabbits, who wiggled their nose. The balloon man came up to the girls, holding dozens of beautiful balloons on strings. Sorry, Mr. Balloon Man, but we spent our money on food for the animals. I know. I have seen that you don't spend money on yourselves, so I'm giving each of you something magical. The balloon man took 3 strings from his bundle and handed the girls a balloon. Blue one for Ariel, red one for Miranda, and a yellow one for Jane. I want you to listen very closely to what I have to say. And the balloon man said, if you do, you'll see something quite wonderful. Before you go to sleep tonight, tie the balloon to the bed very tightly. When you say your prayers, go to sleep as quickly as you can. Go now, children, and sweet dreams. The girls thanked the balloon man. Dad tied the yellow balloon to the button on Jane's sweater. He found 2 sticks of just the right weight to tie Miranda's balloon to and Ariel's to the other. Then they set off for home. That night, Ariel tied the balloons to their beds. The sisters tried to sleep. Finally, the excitement began to wane and they drifted off to sleep. Ariel sat up. Her bed was rising gently from the floor. She looked over to Miranda's bed and Jane's crib, which were rising too. Both drifted slowly before Ariel's bed, which was gliding through the open window. Soon, all 3 were floating above the house, rising steadily towards the stars. Ariel was standing, holding her headboard, but like a captain of the ship. Jane was standing too, safe in her crib. But Miranda pulled the covers up to her neck, turning her head anxiously to look this way, then that. Don't worry, these are magical balloons. Nothing bad can happen to you. Soon, Miranda was enjoying her flight high above the city where she could see the twinkling lights spread out over many stars. There's the girls. Flying! The magic balloons took them higher and higher and closer to the stars. They could hear music drifting towards them, and then they saw 3 angels. One was a blue robe, one in a red robe, and one in a yellow robe. The beds floated after the angels through a wonderful land. It was like a garden, but no garden have you ever seen. The colors were alive and sparkling, and each plant was a wonder in itself, swaying and dancing in the sunlight. All the heavenly animals came to the girls, and this was even more wonderful. The girls have never seen anything quite like it before. The lion stood before them, all majestic and courage, like a proudly beating heart. The sheep was magnificent too. Even as he stood there, he seemed to be in motion, sometimes appearing as the gentlest of lambs, and sometimes as a great ram. The girls wished they could give the animals something to eat, but they soon understood that these creatures didn't need food. They were nourished by the kind thoughts of children. Then the angels began to sing, more beautifully than you could imagine. "Join us!" said the angels, and Ariel, Miranda, and Jane sang song after song, Somehow they knew all the words to the songs. It felt as if they had been there for only a short time when Ariel glanced down at Earth and saw the sun was rising. "Oh dear," she said to her angel. "We must return home before Mom and Dad wake." The angels nodded, went away, and returned with 3 long silver pins. The blue angel, the red angel, and the yellow angel each touched the girl's balloon with a pin. The air came out slowly, and each bed began to float back down to Earth. As the girls drifted, they heard the angels sing, "Goodbye, goodbye. We'll be with you every day. You just need to know where to look." The sisters weren't the least bit tired, even though they had been singing all night. Ariel suddenly began to worry. She noticed that the balloons were almost out of air, and the beds began to fall faster and faster. Just as it seemed they would fall, kerplunk, right out of the sky. The girls were surrounded by a whirlwind of wings. Blue jays and bluebirds all carried Ariel's bed gently through the sky. Cardinals and scarlets tangled with the same for Miranda, and Jane's little crib was lifted by a flock of canaries and goldfinches. The birds were like, "We got you. Don't worry, kid. Don't worry, kid." Down, 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 the birds gently flew the girls right into their bedroom through the window. And as swiftly as they appeared, the birds disappeared through the windows. Whoosh! It's a fluttering of wings. It came Dad rushing the girls' window. "Good morning, girls. I wonder where that big wind came from." "Good morning," said Mom. "Did you sleep well, my little angels?" The girls looked at each other and smiled. When their parents left the room, the girls looked under their beds. When Ariel's bed, there was a blue feather, as blue as her eyes and thoughtful from the blue bird. When Miranda's bed, there was a magnificent red feather, as warm as her kindness. And under Jane's bed, there was a bright gold feather, shining like the sun in her heart. See whatever you see, whatever you do. And that is the end of our first book. If you like bedtime stories, please look at the playlist and give me a subscriber. Bye!